Marvel fans who've started watching Ironheart on Disney Plus are in for a wild ride. The first 3 episodes don't just focus on Riri Williams and her journey as a young genius trying to make it in a tough world. They're packed full of Easter eggs, throwbacks, and hidden connections to the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe. From nods to the original Avengers to surprise cameos and sneaky comic book references, these early episodes are crammed with details that connect Ironheart to the huge world of the MCU. Riri Williams is struggling after being expelled from MIT. She's a brilliant inventor with a dream of building her own Iron Man-style suit. But dreams don't pay the bills. Desperate for money and purpose, she ends up getting involved with a group of criminals led by Parker Robbins, aka the Hood, played by Anthony Ramos. But as she dives into this dangerous world of black market tech, magic, and secrets, she also pulls us into a story loaded with Marvel history and a bunch of cool details you might have missed. Right at the start of episode 1, Riri says she wants to be bigger than Pym, bigger than Stark. That's a bold statement, but also a clear tribute to Hank Pym and Tony Stark, 2 of the most iconic minds in the MCU. It's a great way to show how much she wants to live up to their legacy while also forging her own path. Her best friend Natalie even makes a cheeky joke about Thor and his hammer, which feels a lot like that moment from Spider-Man: Homecoming when high schoolers played FMK with Avengers. It's another way the show blends humor with hero worship. Riri's time in Wakanda is mentioned briefly as part of her internship abroad, which connects directly to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Her AI work, based on Shuri's Griot system, voiced by Trevor Noah in the movies, is another connection to Wakandan tech. This keeps her grounded in that brilliant, Afrofuturistic world even while she's back in the States. Professor Wilkes from MIT pops up again, played by Jim Rash, the same guy who tried pitching his hot dog idea to Tony Stark in Civil War. There's also Trevor, a digital pencil-shaped AI assistant at MIT, which is clearly a shout-out to Clippy from Microsoft Office. Riri's student ID even holds meaning, 30216RW, which references the March 2016 issue of Invincible Iron Man No. 7, her first comic book appearance. The show has tons of subtle MCU and comic nods like this. There's a van labeled Friendly Neighborhood Service, a playful wink at Spider-Man, and the character Rampage, aka Stuart Clark, played by Eric Andre, a deep-cut comic character who once helped the Punisher. We also hear a guy ranting in the street about how Thanos was just the beginning and that Tony can't save us this time. It's a haunting reminder of Avengers, Endgame, and how people in the MCU still live with that trauma. Riri is called Iron Girl and Iron Chick by strangers. Clearly no one has dubbed her Ironheart just yet. She talks about how the Stark Fellowship funding was pulled, making it clear that Tony Stark's legacy continues to impact young minds even after his death. She even mentions selling her car from Wakanda Forever, the 1972 Plymouth Barracuda, to get the money for her suit. Her AI assistant is named Natalie, a Marvel-style acronym, Neuro-Autonomous Technical Assistant and Laboratory Intelligence Entity, poking fun at names like Jarvis and S.H.I.E.L.D. And one hacker says they're one of Madripoor's most wanted, bringing back the Shady City from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's a reminder that even without superpowers, the tech underworld is alive and thriving. Even Riri's enemy, Parker Robbins, has connections to deep Marvel lore. His cousin John is name-dropped, a nod to the comics where John is the one who tells Parker about the magic cloak that gives him his powers. The show also hints that Parker got the cloak from some demon, possibly Dormammu, or maybe even Mephisto, who keeps being teased in Marvel shows but never officially introduced. Other cool pop culture nods include Spy Kids, Orange is the New Black, and The Addams Family. One scene even has Riri and Natalie remote controlling a glove that crawls like Thing from Wednesday. When Riri's suit is criticized for not having an arc reactor, she replies that it runs on solar and lunar energy. It's a reminder that she's building her own path, not just copying Stark's designs. We also learn about Riri's panic attacks, something she shares in common with Tony Stark, who dealt with anxiety in Iron Man 3. This makes her more human and relatable, not just some genius prodigy. Her struggles feel real. A huge twist comes when Riri finds Obadiah Stane's ashes in Joe's house. Obadiah was the MCU's first major villain from Iron Man 2008. Turns out, Joe is actually Ezekiel Stane, Obadiah's son, living under a fake identity. He's off the grid, angry, and maybe plotting revenge. Ezekiel's quiet but mysterious presence could signal a major threat later in the season. Even more shocking is when he refers to his father as Ironmonger. While that name was said in passing in Iron Man, this is the first time the name has been fully used in 17 years. And then there's the Hood's growing connection to demonic forces. At the end of episode 3, Parker is seen speaking to some dark, unseen force after John is killed. It might be Dormammu like in the comics, but Mephisto's name keeps popping up in theories. Posters for Faust with devil horns behind Riri seem like a clear clue. More geeky references keep popping up. Riri name checks, aliens, androids, and wizards, a phrase Sam Wilson used in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Riri and Xavier bond over Star Trek, showing off their nerdy sides, and she and Joe vibe over Alanis Morissette's You Oughta Know. That song even plays during the credits of episode 2, keeping the emotional and nostalgic vibe alive. In episode 3, Riri jokes about whether their crew is more like Ocean's 11 or The Sopranos, capturing the balance between crime caper and intense drama. Riri also wonders if Parker's Hood uses vibranium or PIM tech, which shows how her mind is always analyzing everything. There's even a reference to Star Wars as Natalie jokes that Parker might be building the next Death Star. Again, that's Marvel poking fun at itself while connecting to Disney's other mega franchise. Everything is connected in this wild web of nerdiness. So far, Ironheart is doing a great job balancing Riri's personal growth with a bigger Marvel story. Her ties to Tony Stark, Wakanda, and now even old-cool villains like Obadiah Stane are all being pulled together. And by diving into Parker's supernatural side, the show is exploring new territory, possibly magic, demons, and a darker part of the Marvel Universe that fans have been waiting for since WandaVision teased Mephisto. Episodes 1 through 3 don't just give us a look at who Riri is, they also remind us where the MCU has been and where it might go next. With so many hidden details and name drops, including OG Avengers like Tony Stark and Hank Pym, this series is a love letter to Marvel fans who've been paying attention for years. And we're only 3 episodes in. If this pace keeps up, Ironheart could become one of the most detail-packed MCU shows to date.